Ganondorf, the Emperor of the Dark Realm, the King of Thieves, the wielder of the Triforce of Power. A man poisoned by the curse of a demon thousands of years ago, the actions of whom in Ocarina of Time caused 3 separate timelines full of destruction, pain and ruin. A man who in one reality lost all sense of who and what he once was, becoming an embodiment of pure hatred and evil in the form of the demon boar Ganon. He's by far one of the most interesting villains in video games, so today I thought it'd be fun to run through 10 obscure facts you might not know about the King of Evil. If you're not particularly into the Zelda series, this video may not interest you, as I'm not going to run through the basic facts about Ganondorf. These are obscure facts that even some hardcore Zelda fans might not know about the Prince of Darkness, covering the appearances of Ganondorf and Ganon across not only the Zelda series but Super Smash Bros as well. So let's get into it. First up, one tactic Ganon has used across the games is to create puppets to do his dirty work, like Aghanim in A Link to the Past, or the various Phantom Ganons. My personal favourite is the Phantom Ganon in the Wind Waker, which has an awesome black and blue design, as well as badass theme music which is a remix of Ganon's fight theme from A Link to the Past and Ganondorf's battle theme from Ocarina of Time. But what most people don't realise is that the start of the theme is actually a remix of the theme that plays when Ganon appears in the very first Zelda game. Phantom Ganon also made a big appearance in Ocarina of Time as the boss of the Forest Temple, a creation made by Ganondorf to destroy Link. However, when the hero ultimately beats the Phantom, Ganondorf calls him a worthless creation and says that he will banish it to the gap between dimensions. We've never heard of this gap between dimensions before or since, so it can be inferred that this Phantom is lost in the empty void between Zelda's dimensions such as the real world of Hyrule, the Sacred Realm, etc., which is a pretty terrifying way to go. Speaking of Ocarina of Time, the changes some characters go through during the 7-year gap in the game are obvious. Most child characters grow into adults, Ingo takes over Lon Lon Ranch, etc. But Ganondorf himself actually goes through some changes that are less obvious. Before the 7-year gap, Ganondorf has short hair, small earrings, eyes with yellow irises and black pupils, and a short Gerudo-style cape. However, after the 7-year jump, it's obvious he's aged, as well as that he's been influenced by the Triforce of Power. As well as his hair having grown from short to shoulder length, the whites of his eyes are now a bright yellow, as well as his pupils turning red. He has large earrings and a red cloak now, showing that he's become more regal as he sees himself as the true King of Hyrule. Continuing on the theme of Ganondorf's design, in Twilight Princess he's got a new look, with great black plate armour. Weirdly enough, when the game was remastered for Twilight Princess HD, and the textures for his armour redone, a strange detail was added to the armour, visible here. It shows an incarnation of Link battling with some sort of giant bird. There are fan theories on what it's showing, but none of them are particularly solid. It's a really odd detail to have included in the HD remake. Clearly it shows something of importance to Ganondorf for him to have it displayed on his armour, but what it actually is we don't know. Though this regal armour design wasn't always going to be the case for Ganondorf in Twilight Princess. In concept art for the game, he can be seen rocking this really weird bird-like design with feathers on his shoulders, beady, staring eyes, and hair all over his body, including his fists. Oddly enough, on this design of Ganondorf there's what appears to be the design of Majora's Mask on his chest plate. Whether there was ever meant to be a strong connection between the two in this game, we'll likely never know. Another bird-inspired design for the Gerudo King is in the Wind Waker, where he takes on an overall very regal and kingly look, fitting for a Ganondorf that's much more reserved and calm than we're used to. He's got very strong connections to his main minion in this game, the Helmarok King. The King of Red Lions describes him as the shadow that commands that monstrous bird, and this is reflected in his look. He wears a great cloak with a bird design on the back, giant wings on his sleeves and talons reaching over his shoulders. As well as this, he has a nose very similar in design to the beaks of the Rito. Ganondorf has also appeared in the Smash Bros series since Melee, first as his Ocarina of Time design and then as his Twilight Princess one, and now back to the first appearance for Ultimate. He's historically not been the greatest character in these games, but he does have a couple of interesting bugs, such as the famous Flight of Ganon from Brawl. It causes him to make a giant leap into the air, something he should have been able to do anyway. I mean, he's the king of evil, he can levitate in his games, why is he so damn slow in Smash? This is a glitch that can be performed in a couple of ways, both of which are really hard to pull off. There's some really good videos online on how to do this. One of the players most famous for using this technique is Verminubis, whose Ganondorf here pulls off one of the sickest kills I've ever seen using Flight of Ganon. Another odd Ganon glitch in Smash Bros is in Smash 4 on the Wii U. In this game he retains his Brawl down taunt of pulling out the Sword of the Sages from Twilight Princess, scoffing at it, then sheathing it again. But if Ganondorf is under the influence of a timer item which slows him down, for whatever reason his sword doesn't slow with him, so you get a really glitchy taunt that's never been patched. Ganondorf in Ocarina of Time, A Link to the Past, The Wind Waker, as well as many other games, is portrayed as an incredibly intelligent and sharp being, capable of manipulation and grand schemes that get him what he wants. However, by the late Downfall timeline, such as A Link Between Worlds and the original two Zeldas, Ganondorf has become an almost mindless beast of pure hatred. There's no sign at all of the brilliant strategist and mastermind that once was. It's very likely that this change from genius to beast can be pinpointed to the botched resurrection in the Oracle games, where he wasn't properly revived, and therefore became a mindless beast at the end of the game. Pig Ganon in A Link to the Past at the beginning of the Downfall timeline has every shred of the same cunning and wit as he did as a Gerudo in Ocarina of Time, but by A Link Between Worlds he's mindless enough to be possessed by Yuga. The twin Rover sisters really screwed him up in the Oracle games, causing him to lose his mind. And the final Ganon tidbit I'll give you guys today is another Twilight Princess one, although it's a little bit more of a plausible theory than a fact. During his execution cutscene, the sages run him through with the Sword of the Sages, yet the Triforce of Power causes him to survive it, break his shackles, and murder a sage before being sent to the Twilight Realm. Here, it's very possible that Ganondorf would have transformed into Ganon, Ocarina of Time style. In the final battle of Ocarina of Time, Ganondorf gives up on his cocky, regal persona and uses the full force of the Triforce of Power to transform into Beast Ganon. His eyes glow yellow, with no pupils or irises visible, before he takes on the form of a demon. In the Twilight Princess execution cutscene, after using the Triforce of Power to tank being stabbed through the chest, his eyes again glow pure yellow with no irises or pupils. As well as this, tusks begin to grow from the bottom row of teeth, tusks he otherwise doesn't have, but that Beast Ganon famously does. It's very likely that, had the sages not sent him to the Twilight Realm, Ganondorf here would have pulled his oldest trick and transformed into a beast, and killed all of the sages on the spot. There we go, that's it. There's 10 obscure facts you might not have known about the Prince of Darkness from Zelda games. Did you know about any of these? What are some of your favourite facts about Ganon? Leave them in the comments below. If you like this video, please leave a like on it, it really helps the channel out, and if you want to see more Zelda content, subscribe. Cheers guys, and I'll see you next time.